Hello, this video is going to show how we can integrate the LDRA tool suite with Intland's Retina. Now, what I've done is I've installed Retina inside Docker and it's currently running at the moment. So let's take a look. So here we have Intland Retina and I've created a simple cash register project. So let's open this and we can see we have a number of specification documents as well as some tests. So let's start by taking a look at the system level requirements. And these system level requirements are going to be implemented by some high level requirements. And these will be implemented by some low level requirements. For these low level requirements, if I expand the panel here, we can see these have not yet been verified with LDRA. And I've associated here the function that I want to effectively map to this low level requirement. Let's take a look at the tests. So I have some high-level tests and also I have some low-level tests which are going to verify the low-level requirements. So we can see we have a number of test steps here, and if I expand again on the right, we can see these have not yet been verified, and I've associated with this low-level test a test case file that I want to create and then to execute using TBrun. So that's the project here. Now let's go into TBmanager. And inside TBmanager, I have my low-level requirements satisfying my high-level requirements, satisfying my system-level requirements. And I have high-level tests to verify my high-level requirements and low-level tests to verify my low-level requirements. So let's start by bringing in the system-level requirements. So I'm going to go and import these from Codebeamer, or in this case, I've actually got it set up to use Retina. And I'm going to go and load the projects. So I only have one project. I can now load my trackers. And what I'm interested in is the system requirement specifications. So let's load these. And now I'm going to import those into TBmanager. So we have here 6 system level requirements. Well, let's take these requirements and let's put them into this particular view over here. So we'll drag those in. Right, now let's bring in the next level, which will be the high level requirements. So again, I'm going to go into this and import from Codebeamer, and I'm going to load the projects again. I'm now going to load my trackers, and it's the high level requirements I want to import. So that's looking good. Let's load them, and now let's import them into here. So we can see we have quite a few high level requirements. So we're going to import those, and we can see we've found the link up to the system level requirements, and so they're appearing here like this. Let's go to our relationships view, and now we can see we have the upstream and the downstream traceability. Let's now bring in our low-level requirements. So once again, I'm going to go and connect to Codebeamer or Retina. I'm going to load my projects. I'm going to load the trackers, and it's the low-level requirement specification I want to load. And here we have all these various low-level requirements. Let's go and import these. Okay, so quite a few low-level requirements. And again, what we should find is it's going to put them underneath the appropriate high-level requirement. So now let's go and take a look at this particular view. And again, we now have the upstream and the downstream traceability. Good. So now let's bring in the source code. So the source code, I've actually got it here. And if we expand, we can see we have a number of functions. So if I expand this one, I have this high-level requirement tracing down to some low-level requirements. So I could actually just drag and drop this onto the low-level requirement, effectively creating the mapping. If I now go to my relationships view, we can see this now traces up like this. Well, I can actually automate that because when I imported my requirements, I actually had an additional field where we can see we have the name of the function that I actually want to map to that low-level requirement. So I can simply go and first of all generate export the source description. I can also go and export my TBmanager file. So I'm going to export that. And now I just need to go and open where my project is. So that's inside here, and CashRegister 6. And I've got here something called generate mapping, which is going to run a Python script. It's generated a TBM spec, basically an XML file, and I can now going to be able to import this, and that should create the mapping for me. So if I now go and find that mapping spec, I should be able to import this, and there we have the source code mappings that I've automatically generated. So let's import those, and what we should now see is we have all the source code, and again we have the upstream and downstream traceability. At this point I could actually highlight all my low-level requirements, and instantly I can see I've actually got two problems. I've got here some code that doesn't trace to a low-level requirement, so additional functionality, and here more importantly I have two high-level requirements which are missing low-level requirements. Well, I could have seen that information just by going to here and saying I want to generate a traceability report between basically this document and my low-level requirements, and there I've got a document showing very clearly exactly where I've got gaps in my traceability. Okay, let's go back into TBmanager, and now what I'd like to be able to do is bring in my low-level tests. So once again I'm going to go and connect to Retina. I'm going to load my projects. I'm going to load the trackers. It's the low-level tests I'm interested in. Let's load these. And again, I'm simply going to go and import these. And it should find quite a few low-level tests. And they should map to a low-level requirement. So we should be able to see over here that we now have associated with the low-level test, we have the low-level requirement. And associated with the low-level requirement, we now have this low-level or this test case file. So I should be able to now right-click on here and actually regress this particular sequence of test cases. So this is now going to use tbrun, and it's going to execute these test cases. So it just needs to do a little bit of instrumentation for the first time it runs a test. And it's now executed those tests. We should be able to get the results back, and hopefully we should be able to find that that requirement has been verified. So just waiting for this to finish. Okay, so there we can see that has passed, and now we have green dots indicating these low-level requirements have just been verified. So since we've verified these low-level requirements, let's now go and export the status back into Retina. So this time I'm going to export, and I'm going to export all my requirements. In fact, I won't export all of them. I'm just going to export the ones we've updated. So these four here. So let's go and do that. And now I'm going to set here what I want to update inside Retina. And what I want to update is basically this field, LDRA verified. Everything by default is read-only. So I'm going to set that to right. And now let's go and start the export. And as we can see, we've updated the status for this particular low-level requirement here. So that's good. Let's close this down. And now let's go back into Retina. And if we go and just refresh this, so let me go back to the low-level requirements. And if I now go and expand this, we should now be able to see that this low-level requirement has now been shown as being verified. Okay, so hopefully that's given you an idea of how we can integrate the LDRA tool suite with Intland Retina. And if you'd like more information, then please don't hesitate to contact us at LDRA. Thank you.